Hello everyone! Today we will open up the last of the Commander decks for 2018. And this one is Estrid the Masked. And the name of the deck is Adaptive Enchantment. Now this is a Bond deck, which is green, white and blue. And this is all about enchantments. Yes, enchantments matter, as they say at Wizards of the Coast. Now let's see what's in here. First of all, the Planeswalker. This is a new Planeswalker. We haven't seen her yet. Estrid the Masked. Yeah, so she costs 4 mana. 3 of the colors I just said and 1 colorless. She starts off with 3 loyalty. Has a +2 ability. Untap each enchanted permanent you control. -1, create a white aura enchantment token named Mask attached to another target permanent. The token has enchant permanent and totem armor. -7, put the top 7 cards of your library into your graveyard. Return all non-aura enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, then do the same for aura cards. Right. It's a very nice replenish effect right there. I like it. I like it a lot. And the art is also quite nice. A lot of different faces there. Right, let's get into what's in the box. First of all, of course, a little bit of backstory for Estrid, but also for the other commanders. Kestia the Cultivator and Tuvasa the Sunlit, and also a bit of backstory for Arixmethy's Slumbering Isle. Then on the other side we have, of course, playing the deck, commander rules and advertisements. Right, let's take a look at the deck. First of all, yeah, Estrid herself. Right, then next up we have Kestia the Cultivator, which is also 4 mana for a 4/4 with Bestow 6. Bestow 6 mana. Enchanted creature gets +4/+4. Or whenever an enchanted creature or enchantment creature you control attacks, draw a card. Now Bestow is an old mechanic from Theros, which was an enchantment block for those of you who weren't around back then, and it had Bestow. Now Bestow says if you cast this card for its Bestow cost, it's an aura spell with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again if it's not attached to a creature. So if you bestow it for 6, you'll give another creature +4/+4 and give it the ability when it attacks, draw a card. It can be a creature by its own, and if the creature dies and this card would be going away, it returns as a creature instead. Right, and next up we have Tuvasa the Sunlit from Ixalan, the world of Ixalan. For 3 mana only, we get a 1/1, and she gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. Whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, draw a card. Right, then we get a bunch of tokens. Let's get the deck out here. We get a mask, several actually, a cat, and this is actually the mask token is actually the first enchantment aura token that we have seen so far. We have seen equipments and artifacts and creatures, of course, but no enchantments yet. Right, cat, angel, and on the other side we have cats, soldiers, beasts, and a horror. All right. First of all, Loyal Unicorn. For 4 mana we get a 3/4 Vigilance with the ability Lieutenant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to creatures you control this turn. Other creatures you control gain Vigilance until end of turn. And Loyal Drake, for 3 mana 2/2 flying with Lieutenant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, draw a card. And Loyal Guardian, for 5 mana we get a 4/4 Trample with Lieutenant at the beginning of combat on your turn. If you control your commander, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. We get some reprints: Dismantling Blow, Sage's Reverie, Soul Snare, Unquestioned Authority, Archmage of Imagination, the Archetype of Imagination, Il Umbra, Vow of Flight, Whitewater Naiads, Aura Gnarlet, Dawn's Reflection, Fertile Ground, Crufix's Insights, Overgrowth, Reclamation Sage, Snake Umbra, Vow of Wildness, Wild Growth, Yavimaya Enchantress, Bond Charm, Unflinching Courage, Sol Ring. Get some lands, 3 random planes. Alright. Right, next up, new cards. Imperial Storm. For 6 mana we get, when you cast this spell, copy it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. As we have seen with the other decks, this is a cycle of 5. Create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. And we have Heavenly Blade Master for 6. It's a 3/6 flying double strike. When it enters the battlefield, you may attach any number of auras and equipment you control to it. Other creatures you control get +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to Heavenly Blade Master. Very nice card, I like this one. Assets Invocation, it's an enchantment for 3. You may have Assets Invocation enter the battlefield as a copy of any enchantment you control, except it gains. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile this enchantment. If you do, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So basically what you have here is you can copy an enchantment with it. You can just return it to your hand whenever you want. Exile it whenever you want and return it onto the battlefield for a stronger enchantment that you want, or something that's needed at the time. Right, then we have Ever Watching Threshold. For 3 we get an enchantment. Whenever an opponent attacks you or a Planeswalker you control with 1 or more creatures, draw a card. Octopus Umbra. For 5 we get an aura, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature has base power and toughness 8/8 and has, whenever this creature attacks, you may tap target creature with power 8 or less, and it has totem armor. If enchanted creature would be destroyed, instead remove all damage from it and destroy this aura. Very nice. A little bit of a save. Then we have Genesis Storm, the green storm card. For 6 we have a sorcery that says when you cast this spell, copy it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land permanent card. You may put that card onto the battlefield and then put all cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield on the bottom of your library in a random order. Myth Unbound. For 3 we get an enchantment that says your commander costs 1 less to cast for each time it's been cast from the command zone this game. Whenever your commander is put into the command zone from anywhere, draw a card. Right, so this basically says that your what does it call? Your extra 2 that you pay cost 1 actually now. Nylia's Colossus, a 6/6 for 7, which has the ability Constellation. Whenever Nylia's Colossus or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, double target creature's power and toughness until end of turn. Wow, this can get out of hand very quickly. Ravenous Slime, one of the cards that's also been very much anticipated since it's been revealed. For 3 we get a creature that's a 1/1. It can be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. If a creature an opponent controls would die, instead exile it and put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to that creature's power on Ravenous Slime. And then we have it. Oh, I love this card. Arixmethys, the Slumbering Isle. For 4 we get a 12/12. But it enters the battlefield tapped with 5 slumber counters on it. As long as Arixmethys has a slumber counter on it, it's a land. Whenever you cast a spell, you may remove a slumber counter from Arixmethys. And when you tap it, it adds green and blue. Right, that is very nice. I love this card. So basically it's a land for 4, and then after a while it becomes a 12/12 that still taps for mana. Hydra Omnivore is a reprint. And so we go into the reprints. Bruna, Light of Alabaster. Ajani's Chosen. Celestial Archon, Martial Coup, Phyrexian Rebirth, Sigil of the Empty Throne, Silent Sentinel, Winds of Wrath, Dictate of Kruvix, Bear Umbra, Boon Satyr, Creeping Renaissance, Eidolon of Blossoms, Enchantress Presence, Epic Proportions, Ground Seal, Herald of the Pantheon, Spawning Grounds, Cold-Eyed Selkie, Daxos of Melethis, Elderwood Scion, Finest Hour, Righteous Authority, Mosswort Bridge. Then we go on to the plains, islands, forests. New card, one that every deck has in here. Forge of Heroes, taps for colorless, or when you tap it, choose target commander that entered the battlefield this turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature, and a loyalty counter on it if it's a Planeswalker. Azorius Chancery, Blossoming Sands, Command Tower, yet again, Evolving Wilds, Crozen Verge, Meandering River, Plains, Lost Plains there, Seaside Citadel, Selesnya Sanctuary, Simic Growth Chamber, Metamorphic Expanse, Thornwood Falls, Tranquil Cove, Tranquil Expanse, and a Woodland Stream. And another card with popular Magic formats. Well, that's it for the Yesterday deck. Seems quite simple, quite nice to play. I will test this out tonight when I go to my sister and play. So, thank you all for watching, and well, see you guys with the next major release of a set or stuff or product. So, see you all. Bye bye.